Yeah. Yes, I saw.
So good evening, good afternoon, good morning, namaskar, pranam from India, from whichever part of the world you are joining. It's so beautiful that we have come from day 1 to day 12, and we have still few more days to go. But more than that, what is important is whatever we are deliberating, whatever we are discussing, we have seen significant change. We have seen people have started taking action, and that action speaks about the success of this summit. The situation the earth is in today has been created by unmindful production and unmindful consumption. We consume to forget our worries and our anxieties. Tranquilizing ourselves with overconsumption is not the way. I welcome each one of you on the 12th day of World Peace Summit 2022, organized by Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, Dr. Raja Rao Pagadipalli and Dr. Vijay Caroline Ma'am. Today, as I said, we are on the 12th goal, that is responsible consumption and production. I, along with my co-moderator, Dr. Aruna Watkar, Managing Director, Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions, founder of the NGO Heads, Pratish, a teacher trainer consultant for any educational needs from KG to PG, is here with us. And I hand over this virtual stage to Dr. Aruna Watkar to take it forward.
Thank you so much, Dr. Seema Negi, for this warm introduction. And yes, to introduce my co-host again, Dr. Seema Negi, a Global Goodwill Ambassador, Director Principal, Sanjivani World School, International Speaker, Trainer, Life Coach, and multiple record holder. And yes, we both would be taking you further on this event today, this evening. And yes, right now, we are, as mentioned, we are on the 12th day of the summit, and we all are here to share the awareness and know more about each sustainable goals development aiming to 2030. So namaste, good morning, good afternoon from Dr. Aruna, India, and here we go forward. I would right now call upon Professor Dr. Vijay Caroline, who will share about Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council and the Life Foundation. Dr. Vijay Caroline, the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all the dignitaries and honorable chief guests, honorable keynote speakers and panel discussion speakers, and my lovely and eminent moderators, Dr. Aruna ma'am and Seema Negi ma'am, Dr. Seema Negi ma'am. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you. I would like to say a few lines about Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. I'm the Managing Director of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, Dr. Vijay Caroline. Namaste from India. It is established under Government of India, Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. It is a symbol of unity, peace, and integrity. Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council has great objectives, mainly focus on weaker section, women and girl children, and also we focus even on boy children to have the sustainable development equally. And we concentrate on many educational programs and awareness programs for the upliftment of youth and women and girls and boys equally. And we strive to, at our level, to abolish the unemployment. And so we conduct various employability skills development programs, soft skills training programs and all. We focus even on cultural exchange, and the Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council mainly concentrate on harmony, peace, and in this way, we want to have great peace among the nations, and that will be moved to sustainable development, and also entire peace will be elevated on globe. Under the umbrella of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, we have two sister organizations. One is Telangana Kala Parishad, the other one is the Life Foundation. Telangana Kala Parishad is mainly led by Dr. Raja Rao Pagadipalli. He is the chairman of Telangana Kala Parishad. The objectives of Telangana Kala Parishad are youth empowerment, support of the weaker section, population, and farmers. Protect farmers and support farmers at the level of the organization. What are the norms applied? Telangana Kala Parishad has shown solidarity to the farmers, as farmers are our main supporter who provide us food and help us to lead a sustainable life. And also during pandemic, many of the migrant workers suffered to reach to their hometown, and Dr. Rajarao Pagadipalli has taken the problem and issues, burning issue of the migrant workers to the notice of the government of India, and immediately the action was taken. In this way, Telangana Kala Parishad focuses on various aspects, and also the main objective of this organization is cultural exchange, which is very much required. So many programs has been conducted before pandemic physically, and even the cultural exchange programs conducted by Telangana Kala Parishad appreciated by Government of India and many chief ministers. And the other organization is the Life Foundation. Life Foundation is led by me, Dr. Vijay Carlin, and Life Foundation mainly focus on population under below poverty line. The Life Foundation has adopted 500 acres of slums in Hyderabad and seen that education is imparted to the students, children of the slum, who are not having proper education and they were addicted to bad habits. So different study centers has set, that is the levels, that is from 0 to 5th class, nursery to 5th class, and 6th class to 10th class. And we are striving hard to improve the standards, the living standards and educational, quality education to impart to the students. And we are trying our best level to have counseling sessions for family members who are facing a lot of family conflicts and issues. So many counseling sessions has taken place in programs have been conducted in slums. And as the boys are addicted to bad habits, we counsel even boys and we diverted them to education. In this way, the Life Foundation conducted many programs, and also to have the economic development of the women in slums, we encourage them to have tailoring center, beautician courses, candle making, and chalk piece making. In this way, we want to strengthen them, and we are moving ahead, supporting the population under below poverty line. So many various programs have taken place regularly in slums during pandemic, and we supported them providing food, provisions, etc. Even medical camp has been conducted and tested the diabetic and other BP and other such kind of tests and provided medicines for the vulnerable. In this way, both the organizations which is under Vishwa Humanity United International Council conducted various programs and supporting the nation at our level. And Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council mainly focuses on sustainable development goals and global peace. And both the organizations, along with the Vishwa Humanity, trying our best level to have great peace in the minds of the lives of the people, and that will be more to the globe, and it will be turned up into Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Thank you so much, Dr. Caroline, for sharing your thoughts that you and the activities that you conduct for the betterment of the society. Thank you so much. And right now, I invite Dr. Raja Rao for sharing us the objective of having the World Peace Summit. Over to you, Dr. Rajarao. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajarao. It was wonderful to get to know the objectives of our World Peace Summit. Thank you. And let us now move on to our insightful program for the evening to listen to what our eminent speakers share with us and what we have a takeaway from them. Achieving sustainable consumption and production is that it relates to secure efficiency and productivity gains, ensuring that human activities remain within the carrying capacity of the planet while respecting the rights of future generations. So it says that never be too greedy. Let us use our environmental natural resources thoughtfully. So for start of the day, let me call upon our chief guest, Ms. Ghazala Jabin from UK, founder of #1 Marketing Machine, #1 best-selling author, VIP. And we invite you for this virtual stage, Dr. Ghazala. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, hello and a big warm welcome to Your Excellencies and all our professional people here doing an amazing job on what we call an incredible breakthrough to making big change happen for the future. In particularly, I am very, very passionate about this subject in regards to the changing world in which we live and how can we lead the way for our younger generation, which are today's younger generation, but tomorrow our future leaders, to really be equipped well with the information and knowledge that we share here today. So my background has also been very much involved in the United Nations Sustainable Goals projects around, because I'm also a co-founder of a research center that was all about how do we combine all these elements that actually really need to be addressed in the way we move forward for the welfare of our, what we call home, which is the Mother Earth. And every aspect is very, very valuable. But one thing I want to share, and I think Dr. Aruna Wadka, you just mentioned something about greed. And I know that when we talk about the world and the way things have gone, there are three major motivators and emotional motivators as well that make people move. That is, of course, covering areas from greed, ego, and fear of loss, greatest motivators in the world that we see. But what I also want to share in parallel with that is, of course, we know that knowledge is power, but what I want to emphasize is that what is more powerful than knowledge? Well, that is applied knowledge. Applied knowledge is more powerful because we can sit, we can talk, we can listen, we can learn, we can share, we can do. But if we're not actively making the changes in this process and for the better of world peace, some areas are left adrift and then the job doesn't get done very well. It is coming together of great people. And as somebody who's supporting in giving back, as I know my father always said, when you give for the sake of giving. My father was a teacher, very strict, old school, and we were brought up with great disciplines to give back. So go and earn, work hard, roll your sleeves up, but also remember that when you're giving, give back. So to be here, I just wanted to cover, of course, we're looking here at the major parts of our sustainability in consumption and production. And a couple of things that I've made notes that I want to share as well, and I do work with many projects around the world, is how can I contribute globally of people where they can do even better in their own small scale, but also make sure it's sustainable. One of the projects I carried out was to create the seed project support, which was how can a community be given the little seeds and get them to great, the whole understanding of being together. Remember, we're talking about world peace and the peace of the communities coming together to create the betterment of their communities in which they live. And the idea with the seeds was that if every little community had donations of some seeds that can help them to grow their crops, grow their fruit and veg in that area, and then create the additional seeds from it to duplicate that and continue for sustainability to grow from that way. The other thing is that when we look at our consumption in general, every day we eat, there is a lot of change in diet because a lot of people now going more vegan than the meat, because again, if you look at the cost of maintaining cattle and the meat itself in general, there's a bigger cost involved overall. And that's a big area of, can we look at alternative ways that we can eat? But if we're going to eat, and we're talking world peace, why not share the eating? Why not share the produce? Why not share in community? Why not look after the people who cannot cook and be more aware that the whole thing we started was being mindful of others and mindful for our contribution to others as well. I tell you an example, my mother, she's elderly, and she has her neighbors. They cook the dinner, but they always take her something. So she's not having to go out and spend money, buy, but always somebody takes care of the elderly. So there is also that, caring and sharing of the foods as well. The other thing that, again, we want to be aware of as well is that there are certain produce in our countries relevant to the country. An example of one that I heard a while back was that the greed of getting product for commercial gain was even the likes of the food couscous. And Peru, the Peruvians were actually being deprived of their own native food because it was used for export to other countries where it was classed as a superfood. So there is an element of commercialized greed coming in, yet the country's own people were being deprived of their own food of the country. So that's something that we need to make sure that if certain countries are producing certain foods for the people of their country, we need to make sure that that food is also maintained at a standard that is again and again supporting their home ground first before we can go into mass export of that. When it comes to production again is that when we're getting this whole food and dispatching to the country worldwide is how mindful are we in the packaging? Because again, production and processing and sustainability, we also know the damage that's been done with plastic out in the sea and the fish that we're trying to fish for our food as well, the dangers from it, and also the lack of nutrients that we're losing from that. My own personal thing is that if everybody had a space that they had a small enough garden space or even planters space, but they can grow certain things off their everyday, and we started to get people to create that self-sustainability of having those foods, having things they can use in smaller amounts, then not only are we healthy, not only are we caring about not wastage, but we're also caring about educating the principles of those good habits to other people. And I do believe, and I'm very, very strong about our younger people, because we need them to know why, not what it is, not just the statistics, not just the facts and figures, but how can they involve themselves? Because people will sit and nod. People will think, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, and they do. But you know what? Nobody's necessarily holding their hand and saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do 3 simple steps. We're going to get these seeds. We're going to get some soil. We're going to put those in. We're going to water, and we're going to maintain them. Because it's like weight loss. We can get the food for weight loss, but if we're not doing maintenance, it's pointless exercise for weight loss if we gain the weight back. Maintenance, and that is, again, all part of our sustainability. So again, you know, when we're looking at creating situation for sustainability and maintenance at certain level, we need to be more aware and applying to the area that we avoid having our resources from being depleted or destroyed. And that is part of each community. There should be some peers that can actually stand up and say, hey, I'm happy to do this. I would like to, you know, bring people to make them feel they are valuable to the society and community. Make their voice be heard, because there's so many good-hearted people want to make a change. Make them feel that actually I hear you. You know, I want you to be with us. Let's do this together. And as I always say to people, you know, is together, let's make a mark as we make a difference. And if we're going to make a mark, let's make a beautiful mark, because this is the starting point of the change that we're making. And as change makers, responsible change makers, this is the area that we need to really come together, as we've done here, is now we need to get back to the accountability into the areas we're working with and share some of that. And somebody who comes from a marketing background, one of the key things that I like to highlight is awareness. I create posts. I did today with this event. I shared links privately. I spoke to my friends personally. I made the phone calls. I put the links. I put the posts. I put all the information. As soon as we went live, I put that live recording straight to my platforms. Why? It's not just me coming here to talk. What am I doing to contribute awareness in a space where I bring marketing and awareness and being mindful of the message? So that is from me, is that I'm with you all respectfully, and I'm glad to be and honored to be here to share my, what I call pennies worth, that is there to kind of give back to society, and always at your service to support in any future cases. Thank you very much. It's Ghazala Jabin from the United Kingdom. Thank you.
Wonderful. That was amazing, Ms. Ghazala. The words that you spoke was really worthwhile, and everyone has to, you know, you have given a food of thought to everyone that how it is that you need to take. And I really like your statement. Knowledge is power, no doubt about it, but more powerful is the applied knowledge, which we are lacking, and many of us really need to go ahead with that. Thank you so much for your presence here. And next here, we have our chief guest. Let me call upon Dr. Shelley Bist, an educator, international speaker, anchor, writer, and a social activist. The virtual stage is yours, Dr. Bist.
Thank you so much for such a warm introduction of mine. I am really honored. So here I go. Think of how we like to see the world, to be gay, or should I say happy, humanitarian in all its forms, and poverty-free, accounting to SDG 1. Eradicate the roots of it all from the globe. I want to live in glee, content. But how if I don't have enough to fill my pouch? My stomach is but a mere bag that deserves the right clean substance, one that is appropriate for my clan. Can I not depend on SDG 2 to do such a much for humanity? Age is then but just a number. All numbers must be treated alike. In terms of respect or health on site, the world looks at the end of thunder and strike. SDG 3 is of some might. Who is a human with no formal wisdom, an animal on this planet? SDG 4 says quality education for every citizen, inclusive of an experience of real-time knowledge and exuberance. Chauvinism and feminism are now terms that can be used in one sentence. Kudos to SDG 5 in the context of non-existence, a world that is liberally equal without a doubt of happiness coming in. Unless a clean and hygienic form of living is established, peace will always be a myth. Sustained water and good sanitation for every situation, says at SDG 6. Energy is a reason for our being distributed equally should be the key of anyone who lay their feet. Know what guides what they are doing. SDG 7 is the path of scoring. Lead icicle is a route we forgot. A place of work is our only stop. Neat, clean, and worthy of a pay, our job must only help us to crack the SDG 8 right spot. Building resilient infrastructure, sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation, SDG 9, are experiences that occur. Fancy is the sound, worthy is a proper noun. Countries like our own must live together as a couple that court in peace and in stress forever, as one SDG 10 to numbers that are joined till death do us apart. We promise to never have fought. The shelter I take pride in must assure my reliance of being safe and self-sufficient in a settlement of SDG 11 I take as my aim. Consumption of the air, resources are everywhere, sustainable and efficient. It's all for us to churn out there. SDG 12 fascinates our care. Cater to the mother that has given us the difference of seasonal bliss, melodies that ring must combat. The SDG 13's climatic risk, conserve and cleverly take the oceans and seas, marine resources are a dream. SDG 14 wishes to be sustainable and safe until the end of our waves. Protect terrestrial ecosystem, make forests worth visiting, abolish the method of desertification, ban land degradation, and pause the laws of biodiversity, preaches SDG 15. Societies might mingle inclusive of activities, create a happy atmosphere to live in. SDG 16 provides access to justice for all, build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels, strengthen the means of implementation, revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development, and be a globe that does not live in the fever of the SD phenomenon. This SDG 17 rests on predominant. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all who is watching us right now. Myself, Dr. Shelley Mish, Deputy Center Superintendent of CBSE Term 2, Class 12 Board Examination and Examiner for English Core Class 12 Boards. So what is the goal here, ladies and gentlemen? I guess SDG 12 to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. And if I ask the question why, and the answer is economic and social progress over the last century has been accompanied by environmental degradation that is endangering the very systems on which our future development and very survival depend. COVID-19 offers an opportunity to develop recovery plans that will reverse current trends and shift our consumption, and electronic waste grew by 38%, but less than 20% is recycled. Now, the 12th Sustainable Development Goal aims at ensuring responsible consumption and production patterns everywhere in the world, notably by halving the global food waste per capita and ensuring the efficient and sustainable use of natural resources by 2030. Fighting pollution, reducing the overall waste generation, and improving the management of chemicals and toxic waste. Supporting companies to green infrastructure and practices, making sure everyone everywhere is fully informed of ways to live in harmony with nature and eventually adopts thoughtful habits. In a nutshell, while the world's population is constantly growing, SDG 12 is about decoupling economic growth from environmental degradation, increasing resource efficiency, and promoting sustainable lifestyles. There can be no sustainable development without sustainable consumption and production first. Now, according to UN, if human activity continues at current rate, we will need 3 planets to sustain our lifestyle by 2050. We consume more resources than the planet can generate, and growing rates of pollution and waste only exacerbate the problem. Commercial and residential energy use is the second most rapidly growing area of global energy use after transport. Agriculture and the textile industry are the biggest polluters of clean water in the world. By 2020, the OECD forecasts a 32% increase in car ownership and expects global air traffic to triple, which will inevitably result in more CO2 emissions. And around a third of all food produced in the world is wasted each year, while millions of people suffer from hunger, mainly in third countries. As natural resources are not infinite, we all need to learn to do more and better with less at all levels. Individuals can apply small but impactful changes in their daily lives to reduce their own waste and carbon footprint. However, we are committed to achieve SDG 12 because individual efforts are not enough. Global and coordinated action is required to tangibly and sustainably switch to responsible consumption and production worldwide. Now, goal 12, the thing which we're discussing now, achieving economic growth and sustainable development requires that we urgently reduce our ecological footprint by changing the way we produce and consume goods and resources. Agriculture is the biggest user of water worldwide, and irrigation now claims close to 70% of fresh water for human use. The efficient management of our shared natural resources and the way we dispose of toxic waste and pollutants are important targets to achieve this goal. Encouraging industries, businesses, and consumers to recycle and reduce waste is equally important, as is supporting developing countries to move towards more sustainable patterns of consumption by 2030. A large share of the world population is still consuming far too little to meet even their basic needs. Halving the per capita of global food waste at the retailer and consumer level is also important for creating more efficient production and supply chains. Now, this can help with food security and shift us towards a more resource efficiency economy. Our planet has provided us with an abundance of natural resources, but we have not utilized them responsibly and currently consume far beyond what our planet can provide. We must learn how to use and produce in sustainable ways that will reverse the harm that we have inflicted on the planet. Now, the most important things when we talk about the targets, now 12.1 implements the 10-year sustainable consumption and production framework. 12.2 talks about the sustainable management and the use of the natural resources. Target 12.3, halve global per capita food waste. Target 12.4 talks about the responsible management of chemical and waste. 12.5 talks about the sustainably reduced waste generation. 12.6 says encourage companies to adopt sustainable practices and sustainability reporting. 12.7 talks about the promote sustainable things. 12.8 promote universal understanding of all sustainable lifestyles. 12.9 says support developing countries' scientific and technological capacity for sustainable consumption and production. 12.8 says develop and implement tools to monitor sustainable tourism. 12.5 says remove market distortions that encourage wasteful consumption. But responsible consumption and production, why it matters, that is need to be discussed. A successful transition will need improvements in resource efficiency, consideration of the entire life cycle of economic activities, and active engagements in multilateral environment things. Now, if I ask a question to all of you, how can I help as a business? It's in business interest to find new solutions that enable sustainable consumption production matters. A better understanding of environmental and social impacts of products and services is needed, both of product lifestyles and how these are affected by use within lifestyles. Identifying hotspots within the value chain, where interventions have the greatest potential to improve the environmental and social impact of the system as a whole, is a crucial first step. Innovation and design solutions can both enable and inspire individuals to lead more sustainable lifestyles, reducing impacts and improving well-being. Second thing which I want to talk about is how can I help as a consumer? There are two main ways to help. First, reducing your waste, and second, being thoughtful about what you buy and choosing a sustainable option whenever possible. Ensure you don't throw away food and reduce your consumption of plastic, one of the main pollutants of the ocean. Carrying a reusable bag, refusing to use plastic straws, and recycling plastic bottles are good ways to do your part every day. Making informed purchases also helps. For example, the textile industry today is the second largest polluter of clean water after agriculture, and many fashion companies exploit textile workers in the developing world. If you can buy from sustainable and local sources, you can make a difference, as well as exercising pressure on businesses to adopt sustainable practices. To conclude, I want to say, find a Goal 12 charity you want to support. Any donation, big or small, can make a difference. Shop, eat, and drink locally. Supporting neighborhood businesses keeps people employed and circulates money back into your community. Be conscious of packaging, the less the better. Buy secondhand whenever you can. Do some research and buy from companies you know have sustainable practices and don't harm the environment. Download and use food sharing applications. You can download apps to donate your leftover food and decrease the amount of food waste you produce. Choose reusable products. Use an eco bag for shopping, a reusable water bottle, or a cup to reduce your plastic waste. Advocate for corporate responsibility. Join petitions and campaigns calling out businesses with unsustainable practices. Stay informed. Follow your local news. Stay in touch with the global goals online and on social media. At last, I want to say only one thing. Earth, I love you. I will protect you so that you're forever in my heart and all of humanity. And I guess if I'm in love with the earth, I guess all the fellow around so watching us and who are right now hearing to me is also in love of the Mother Earth. So that together we are in this mission to protect the earth. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Shelley Best. It was wonderful and really loved the poetic way you put across the 17 goals. It was like sounding like a rhythm and the poetic way. I really loved that. And your statement of, you know, being impactful in our daily lives, right? That is very, very important because we need to know how much are we consuming, how much is the production being there, and how are we saving our climate and our environment with our supply and demand strategy, right? So great. And as you take the pledge, I love the Mother Earth and we all love and we are working towards a mission. Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna, for the warm compliments you have given me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, now I would go ahead. Our next chief guest, Dr. Shrikant Kalurkar, Principal, Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai, West, India. Over to you, Dr. Shrikant Kalurkar. The stage is yours. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aruna Vadkar, madam. In fact, I am going to refer to one of my research, which I had carried out with funding from AICT, that is All India Council of Technical Education, in late 90s. For some other purpose, it was to develop the enterprising personality. But then I found that some of the qualities which we could develop there in that research are useful in all walks of life, including responsible consumption and production thereby. So what is important is, it was discussed yesterday also, that it is need of the mindset development and understanding the difference between need and greed. If we can tackle that, probably we'll be able to go for responsible consumption as it could be. But if prima facie, everyone wants to support the mother earth, everyone wants to have a responsible consumption, reduce the consumption, all these things. But the problem is the comfort zone in which we are working at present. And there is a need of power of determination, power of commitment, and power of rational thinking. If such qualities can be developed through some methodologies, then probably different individuals can go for responsible consumptions. And one very important thing which I observed was, because there is a feeling that if I do all these things, whether I will go away from my success in professional life. I was discussing with one of my relatives who is the global head of Electrolux in washing machine design section. And he was telling me, as Madam was just now mentioned, that the corporates have been given instructions. He was telling me that we have been given all the 17 SDGs, and whatever design we do has to take care of the SDG goals. These are been instructions in a company like Electrolux to all their designers. Now, as far as the professional life is concerned, I would quote an example of the Honorable Chairman of AICT, All India Council of Technical Education, happens to be my friend. And once we met at Mumbai airport, and both of us were traveling to Delhi by the same flight. So I just went to him, said hi. He was sitting there already waiting. And then he said, let's sit for some time, because anyway the flight is delayed. It was Air India flight and it was delayed by an hour. So after a long time we are meeting, so we kept on discussing. After the boarding started, I told him, sir, let me go and stand in the queue, because I am an economic class passenger. Being a chairman of AICT, you are always eligible for business class, because the chairman AICT is a position equivalent to the cabinet minister rank. He said, who told you that I'm traveling by business class? I said, but I know, sir, all the chairman of AICT in past also used to travel by business class. He said, no, I do travel by economic class. And people tell me that you have to take minimum 100 flights a year. So you will start having back pain, you will have health problems. So you must travel by business class. So I told them, as and when I will have this problem, I will start traveling by business class. But till then, let me travel by economic class. So we boarded the flight together and our seats were also nearby. The whole idea is, I have seen about 6-7 chairmen of AICT last few years. Dr. Anil Sahasrabuddhe is only the chairman of AICT in India who got third term as a chairman AICT. The term is for 3 years. And last 7 years, he's the chairman of AICT, because even the government of India, Ministry of Education, earlier Ministry of HRD, do not want to lose such a kind of chairman. And there are many more things, good things he has done. And so this leads to a professional success also. When we talk about responsible consumption, through the example, I wanted to say that it leads to responsible success in our career life also. In Mumbai, where I am a principal, I was offered a cabin of about 600 square feet by the authorities. Because earlier I was sitting in a small cabin. But then by sitting there, I was likely to go away from the placement department, which is directly under my supervision as a principal. And requested my management, sir, I don't mind having a cabin of 150 square feet. The rate of property here is around 50,000 per square feet in place like Malad. But then don't give me bigger cabin. I don't need an attached washroom. I don't mind using another washroom. But let the placement be under my close supervision, as it was your idea. And because of that, we have been able to reach in last 5 years 100% placement with a package of 5 lakhs to 35 lakhs every annum. Now, this success could come to us. And because of that, even my management do not want me to get retired. So the whole idea is, when we think of responsible consumption, what is important is restrainment. Willfully saying no to something which you can afford or which is available to you. So this work is basically on the restrainment, how to practice that. But before that, of course, my student Charang will throw more light on that. The need of responsible consumption starts with, in 2000 to 2017, 17 years, according to UN report, there is an increase in material footprint by 70%. Of course, there was a reduction in 2020 for 2 years during COVID period, but now again from this year it is increasing. As Madam was mentioning, the plastic drinking bottles. UN report says 1 million plastic drinking bottles are sold every minute. And disposable of that, how to dispose that is a major problem. 5 trillion single-use plastic bags. Charang, who is going to be a speaker, and he's a startup from our institute. We concentrate on creating appropriate products out of this single-use plastic wrappers and bags and other things. Even on e-waste, the report says 7.3 kilogram of e-waste every person generates, and only 1.7 kilogram is being recycled. And remaining e-waste is creating problems. Another problem is fossil fuels. Even yesterday, Dr. Vaikar was also mentioning that we are going for electric vehicles, but if you are not producing the electricity by renewable energy sources, what you are doing is, we are shifting the pollution from urban areas to rural areas where the electricity is generated. So use of fossil fuels is also one of the major aspect of it. Of course, Government of India is working on that, and ethanol base, there is already a 10% use of ethanol in petrol and diesel, and then it's going to increase every year. And we are likely to work on, I was talking to a design engineer of an automobile company, Greus Lamborghini, who manufactures many of the engines for many of the companies. And he was saying that we have been given instructions to design the engines which will run purely on ethanol. And these engines will be there on all the vehicles in time to come. So our country is also going a big way in that. But use of the development, I mean the renewable energy is a costly affair, as on date at least. The 880 watts per capita renewable energy generated in the developed countries, whereas in developing countries it is only 219 watts. One of the reasons being the cost, capital investment, which is required for that. So there is an urgent need that we adopt the SDG good practices in every walk of life, and which can be achieved through responsible consumption. So the restrainment. The background of the work is we try to train a group of below poverty line people, making use of a specific training methodologies which are developed. The first one was understanding the fact that not mine, thy will be done. So that everything I will do, I want to do it, and I am the only person who can do it. So it is action-oriented, selfless act. If we imbibe that, then there is a growth in the professional life. That's what we observed. Another is sharing the assets with the feeling of humility with our co-workers and making it as a regular practice. Third one is a restrainment, as I mentioned. Classify the variety of needs as luxury, comfort, necessity, and bare necessity, and try to give up one of them and make sure that the mind does not crave for it. That's important. And once you can achieve this stage, then one can go for the another need. So by practicing this, one can march towards responsible consumption habits and understand the law of action when we are dealing with others, so that the action of today need not become the source of misery for tomorrow, and we can develop some do's and don'ts about that. And selfless behavior with an appointment of the self for 5 minutes. So what is this appointment of self for 5 minutes? If we are talking about SDG good practices, then minute 1, I will remember the mistakes. Have I done anything which is not matching with the SDG good practices in last 24 hours? Minute 2, resolve that at least this particular act, I will not do it today. Then plan the day's important work. And wherever one has a faith, pray that whatever I'm planning, let it come true, and be thoughtless for a minute. So this was a main model which we developed and made them to practice on day 2. And we collected the data on a 5-point Likert scale, and it was analyzed for about 400 participants on about 31 variables, making use of statistical package for social sciences, applying factor analysis. So we tried to extract various factors. And the factors that we found were captioned, which I would like to highlight here now. One is ability to practice a selfless behavior, which is need of the time. Another is peace of mind, and also which is leading to prosperity. This is a World Peace Summit. And there is a feeling that peace and prosperity are two opposite sides of the same coin. But that's not the case. With right kind of mindset, peace and prosperity can exist together. Then, as I mentioned earlier, increase in power of determination, increase in power of commitment, increase in ability to face the negative situation, increase in ability to have a balance of mind. These were some of the findings of this research, which is need of the time, along with the spiritual gain and grace. That is, I am connected somewhere with the superpower. And most important is understand the difference between need and greed and practice that. Now, if you look at the economics perspective to this problem, the irresponsible consumption is because of the wants. And wants are ever increasing, recurring and ever increasing. Once one want is satisfied according to the basic laws of economics, other wants are cropped up in the mind. But want is also a result of mindset. If you control the mind, wants also can be controlled. And thereby we can control the consumption pattern. And once you control the consumption pattern, it leads to control of production. So manage the mind to manage the world. This is the crux of it. So this is what I wanted to mention. And we have some startups. Sharang Ambadkar, he is with us. He will be sharing his startup, which is 3 years old now. So he started working on it when he was in second year engineering. He's a pass out of last year, 2021. And he owns 2 factories and is one of the big success stories for us. My another student, 1996 pass out, and he already owns 6 factories. We are working on manufacturing of e-bikes, which are more suitable for rural India. The problem of rural India is availability of power. So with 25 to 30 minutes of charging, the bike can go up to 25 to 30 kilometers. And with 3 hours of charging, it can go more than 100 kilometers. And more than that, the design of the bike, I was personally involved in that, has been made on par with one of the popular bikes, that is from Kinetic, Activa, because which is supposed to be one of the robust bikes in the Indian market today. So taking clue from that, the bike was designed and developed with the help of 2 students from IIT Mumbai, of course pass outs, and 20 from Government Engineering College, Nanded. We worked together for almost 2 to 3 years, and now the bike is ready to be launched in the market. But then even for these e-bikes, what is important is how are we working on renewable energy sources? Can we have hybrid mode like solar, wind, all such things working together, going together? So there are certain examples of such things. Which one can work out because it's a big problem. It takes years to work on that. So I would like to thank the organizers, Dr. Raja Rao, Caroline Madam, Dr. Aruna Warkar Madam, for having given me an opportunity to share my views on this topic. And I'm sure that if we develop the model to change the mindset, definitely one can achieve the responsible consumption pattern. And this model which I mentioned just now has come from a Vedic concept which says Yajnadana tapakarma na tyajyam karyameva yajnodhanam tapakarma pavadani manishidam. Means selfless act. Yajna means selfless act. Sharing the assets. All these things can lead to a better personality. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shrikant. You know, it's rightly said that apart from parents, it's only the teachers who always love to see their students progressing. And in your entire deliberation, I was so happy with the kind of passion you were talking about your students, their startup. So the concern of a teacher, the happiness of the teacher and the pride of the teacher, everything was there in your voice. And you have given us some implementable solution. That is the beauty of this entire session, that the solutions that are coming, these are something that anyone can adopt if the person is ready to become the change agent. Your law of action was indeed something that we all should practice, because yes, our today's law of action should not become the misery for tomorrow. So that is very important. And the 5-point scale that you had discussed, you had in fact touched everything. And action-oriented selfless deed is the need of hour. as you have rightly mentioned toward the end, the shloka that you said. So I was reading somewhere about the supervision, which says a responsible leader ensures that a team adjusts, accommodates, adopts, and achieves in the new situation. You being a responsible leader, you yourself accommodated, adjusted to the new situation when you gave the example of your own cabin. So thank you so much. We are truly enlightened to have you here today. You have really given us a good takeaway, which each one of us we will follow. So thank you so much. And definitely we are all looking forward to hear to your student Sharang. You have mentioned him so many times, so we are all ears for him in the next session. Moving ahead, our next chief guest for today is Anna Maria Bunopor from USA. She's the editor of In-Flight USA and Bizajets USA magazine. May I request Anna Maria to please come over and take over this virtual stage?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me on this platform today. I have been doing a lot of thinking about sustainability and production and environmentalism, how it affects our economy and whatnot. I had a good friend named Rosalind Kahn who spoke on this stage a couple of days ago during this very same summit. And as a business owner involved in print media and aviation, I was challenged to do some digging and hard thinking on the environment, because coming from my background, I don't always think about it. And that could be a problem. And many of the things that we talked about today, I understand why it is crucial that we think about the environment and sustainability and the products and services that we are putting out there. And this is for the purpose of future generations. So I came up with 10 keys to better production and a better world. It's easy to think that it's possible to make products without any impact to public health or global warming. But the second law of thermodynamics still holds true, that there is no such thing as a free lunch. And here in the US and around the world, we're constantly debating if it's possible to start producing and have an easy time with business and not have to worry about the environment. Do these things conflict? Can we continue to
I think we are facing some technical issues or the signal issues. I think there is some technical glitch. There is some issues from Anna Maria's side. We should at least wait for 2 minutes so that we can. Yes. Meanwhile, she'll join, and we'll go ahead with our next speaker, next chief guest for the day, Mr. Muhammad Ali Khadr. He's from UAE and he's global educator, CEO, HMV.com, international trainer. And Mr. Muhammad, this entire virtual platform is all yours. We are all eager to listen to your deliberation, your thoughts, and your action-oriented results that we all can follow.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am very thankful to Mr. Raja Rao and his team for inviting me in Global Peace Summit 2022. And I'm feeling very proud to be a part of Global Peace Summit at that time when the whole world is striving for peace. Now I will come towards the topic, which is SDG 12, Sustainable Consumption and Production. It is about promoting resource and energy efficiency, sustainable infrastructure, providing access to basic services, green and decent jobs, and a better quality of life for everyone. When we talk about efficiency, it means to consume less and produce more. And talking about green jobs means environmental friendly projects. Its implementation helps to achieve overall development plans, reduce future economic, environmental, and social costs, strengthen economic competitiveness, and reduce poverty. It refers to the use of services and related products which respond to basic needs and bring a better quality of life while minimizing the use of natural resources and toxic materials, as well as emission of waste and pollutants over the life cycle of the service or product, so as not to jeopardize the needs of future generations. It has defined 11 targets of SDG 12. Number 1, implement the 10-year sustainable consumption projection framework. Second is sustainable management and use of natural resources. Halve the global per capita food waste. Responsible management of chemicals and waste. Substantially reduce waste generation. Encourage companies to adopt sustainable practices and sustainability reporting. Promote sustainable public procurement practices. Promote universal understanding of sustainable lifestyles. Support developing countries to strengthen their scientific and technological capacity to move towards more sustainable patterns of consumption and production. Number 10 is develop and implement tools to monitor sustainable development impacts for sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products. 11th is remove market distortions that encourage wasteful consumption. Now I will come towards some implementations of SDG 12 in UAE. In 2015, the UAE cabinet approved the UAE Green Agenda 2015 to 2030. The Green Agenda consists of 5 strategic objectives, 12 main programs, and 31 sub-programs. 2 programs with the objective competitive knowledge and economy, 2 programs with the objective social development and quality of life, 2 programs with sustainable environment and value resources, and 2 other objectives are clean energy and climate action and green life and sustainable use of resources. Right now I'm sitting in Pakistan. I will let you know about some initiatives took by Pakistani government regarding SDG 12. Top of the list is Neelam Jhelum hydropower project, which will generate cheap hydroelectricity, increase the share of renewable energy, and will also create job opportunities. In education field, providing students with knowledge of artificial intelligence, robotics, and other technical skills, they have launched a project with name Hunarmand Pakistan. At last, I want to say that this project is about saving humanity and peace. And I'm done with my speech. Now I want to say thank you to the team and Mr. Raja. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Ali Khadr. The insights that you have given, which can be implemented, will be beneficial for each and everyone, whichever nation we belong to. And the best part is when each one of us, like you and me, we become a part of the change, definitely then tomorrow we will be the one who will be called as change agent, and we will together work to make a better and sustainable world. And a sustainable world is not possible without peace. So thank you so much for your deliberation and insightful, meaningful discussion about your country, about other countries, wherein each one of us can follow the same footprints that you are following. Thank you so much. Moving ahead, I can see Anna Maria has joined us again. Yes, Anna Maria, please, the stage and the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much. I want to apologize for getting disconnected. As I was saying, I have a friend who spoke on this same platform during this summit a few days ago, and my background is mainly in print media and in aviation. I was challenged to debate whether or not we can continue with production and living our lives as is without experiencing environmental problems. And a lot of people think that they can make products without any impact to public health or global warming, but the second law of thermodynamics still holds true, which is there is no such thing as a free lunch. As long as we exist and are producing, there will be some impact to the environment, and that is just part of the deal. So obviously the answer isn't to stop producing, but what can we do in our societies in the United States and globally to have more responsible production? I've been in business for myself for 10 years, and this wasn't a subject I was thinking about often until challenged to really do the research and think about it. The first subject I'd like to talk about, and I have 10 keys that I'd like to discuss, is shared responsibility. It is all of our responsibility to encourage everybody, whether upstream or downstream in the production cycle, to recycle paper products or to reuse any products that might have second chances instead of just throwing them in a landfill. As a manufacturer, it is definitely our job to encourage users to use products responsibly by putting disclaimers and notices on the back of bottles or on packages where there is paper and whatnot. It is our job to use biodegradable materials and the most responsible papers we can use. As somebody who uses a lot of paper products, I've thought about using recycled paper, hemp paper that comes from cannabis, and work to reduce paper consumption overall by producing more online documents, printing out fewer pages on the printer, printing out pages both on the front side and on the back side. It's not just the manufacturing process that has to worry about being more responsible to the environment, but just things that we do day to day in the workplace. How much paper are we using? How many bottles are we using? Do we still have plastic cups at the water cooler? Shouldn't everybody be responsible for bringing a reusable coffee mug or a reusable cup, as somebody else has mentioned earlier in their speech today? These are questions that we can think about. The next key I'd like to talk about is life cycle thinking. Sometimes we think about a product and it's single use. I'll think about my magazine and the person who's going to read it one time and then either put it on a shelf or throw it away. I don't like to think about my magazines being thrown away, but let's face it, the content in there is timely and it doesn't last forever. And unless it's a research university or a museum, they probably will eventually dispose of the product. So in life cycle thinking, we have to work to reduce environmental risks throughout the product's life cycle. Think beyond the surface use. The product take-back programs for products like car batteries, laptops, cell phones, any kind of technology that uses a battery is very important. If you sell these products or if you are a consumer of these products, look into take-back programs where you can take it back to the store. Some even incentivize. I bought a car battery the other day and they gave me a discount when I brought back the old one so that they could dispose of it properly, so that the chemicals wouldn't get out into the landfills and harm the human life and animal life and plant life all around. Life cycle thinking, not just thinking a day or 2 days ahead, but thinking far into the future, will help mitigate risks to the environment. The third key, and this is probably chief to anything that we talk about, and it goes hand in hand with promoting world peace. It's all about knowledge and education, as we've discussed on this platform. Education is the gateway to a better life. It's important that manufacturers and those in business, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and big companies and small companies alike understand every action that they take and the immediate and long-term risks that the products put out there. Whether you have a paper product or a product with chemicals and batteries, hazardous materials, understand exactly the safety impacts of that. I deal with, in aviation, jet fuel, avgas, and electric aircraft. And we're starting to see companies that are putting avgas out there go to zero lead. We went from low lead and now there is zero lead. This is one of my clients that was chief among the companies in the United States to put out there zero lead in avgas. This is reducing risks to public health, learning disabilities in children in the neighborhoods around the airports, mental health issues to the adults. This is very important that we have a solid understanding and education about the risks that our products are putting out there. Next, I'd like to talk about the supply chain communications. Be transparent about hazards and manage exposure in your portion of the supply chain. Know your place in the supply chain and help those up the stream and down the stream from you minimize the total life cycle impact. Try to use more sustainable practices, ones that use less energy. We're starting to see things like electric cars and cryptocurrency. These are all great things. But the truth is that they take a lot of energy. I know that in crypto mining, it takes a lot of energy with all the computers, all the internet usage. And we have to think about ways that we can pace ourselves, mitigate those risks. Don't use it at certain times of the day. Work with your neighbors and make sure that you're not all using it at the same time. That will reduce the impacts to global warming and public health. It's very important that we think about all the different stakeholders involved when we look at environmental issues. We want to understand the perspective of all those in the chain, from our employees to our managers, stockholders, people who own stock in the company, vendors and suppliers, the neighbors around, governments, and public interest groups. This is something I think about with the airports that I serve with my magazine. What do the neighbors have to say? What do the businesses at the airports have to say? What does the government have to say at the local, state, and national levels? Trying to understand each perspective and coming up with a team strategy that works for everybody involved is not always easy, but coming together to work on that strategy is key. Which leads me to my next point, and that's teamwork. As manufacturers, it is our job to be product stewards, just as we are stewards and citizens. When we see garbage on the ground, we should pick it up. And the same thing happens in the production cycle. As product stewards, we should pay attention to products that are not working, and we should count on the advice of experts. No company, private or public entity, can do this alone. No entrepreneur can do this alone. We have to rely on expert teams that understand manufacturing from all angles, including research, marketing, legal, and public health. Talk to experts in multiple fields to have a better understanding of the products that are being put out there, the services that are being put out there, and the environmental risks of each one. Expert teams need to continue to develop reliable standards to evaluate, communicate, and mitigate risk to consumer. It's a constant learning process, and we all have to be willing to be open to education, just as teachers do continuing education, doctors do continuing education. And in manufacturing and in business, we may not have an industry or a board or anything that requires us to have continuing education, but it is our responsibility to the environment, to our neighbors, to our stakeholders, and to each other to continue our education and make sure that the experts we're consulting are also developing and continuing their education constantly. Innovation is crucial. Without innovation, our world stands still. We have to be open to new inventions that can streamline the process and make it safer. My family has been in the publishing and printing industry long enough to where I remember when the layout process was still done on paper before there were any computers at all, when boards and poster boards were packed up in a suitcase and driven to a printer 4 hours away. Think about the environmental impact of all of that, the driving to the printer, all of the paper being used, and how the printing industry has evolved to make things more green. Before you attack an industry like aviation or printing, understand what innovations are being done so that they're reducing and mitigating their risks to the environment. Not everybody in aviation is a bad guy. People who are producing avgas are working hard to make it the lowest risk possible to the environment and our public health. Be open to innovation as a citizen and as a business person and manufacturer. Next, strong management is key. We have to have strong leadership if we're going to adapt and make this world a better place for all of the consumers around us. Develop product stewardship as a company culture. It's not just a one-time product. There's a lot of incentives, public and private, out there that'll give you some kind of an award or bonus for becoming a quote unquote green company. But just like exercise and diet, being green is not a one-time thing. It is a way of life. And unless we adapt to this as a company culture in the workplace, recycling, less paper consumption, cleaning up after ourselves, making sure that the chemicals we put out there are safer to use, and making sure we are mitigating as many chemical risks as possible is important. We must work together and adapt this as our company culture. And finally, integration is key. We all have to be on the same page if things are going to get better for the world around us. And this starts at home, it starts in our workplace, and then, and only then, can we make it a better world for the people around us. You got to make product stewardship a priority. Always ask, is this the responsible thing to do? Whether you're at home drinking a soda or in the workplace completing a big project that's going to require hours of computer energy or lots of paper printouts. Ask if this is the responsible thing to do. Work together and show support for one another. The solution isn't to come down on others with anger, but rather to understand their point of view and come together to find ways to mitigate the risks. This is food for thought and something to think about. Today, we've put a lot of verbs in our sentences, and I would like to thank you for this opportunity for appearing on this platform. I look forward to seeing the changes we can make. From the green capital of the world of California, I pass all of this on to you and hope for a greener future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna Maria. This was so very insightful and truly said. Being green is not a one-time thing. It's a way of life. The early we adapt to it, the better and sustainable future we will make for all the generations to come. Which makes me remind again that we need to keep on reminding ourselves that we have not inherited this planet from our ancestors. We have borrowed it from our children. So we need to make a sustainable world for them. And the keys that you have given, 10 keys that you have given for making a better world. I think if each one of us will start implementing that, then together we can make a better and sustainable world, whether it is supply chain communication, whether it is coming together as a teamwork or innovation or integration. The keys that you have given us is something that I think each one of us will not just cherish, but each one of us will implement also. So thank you so much. It was wonderful to have you here amongst us today and sharing your thoughts and your perspectives, and not just that, sharing the implementable actions. Thank you so much. So moving ahead, we come to the second round of today's evening. I take a lot of pride and privilege to call upon our first keynote speaker. The first keynote speaker is Mr. Sunil Bhakare. He's a resource person and master trainer, British Council, Cambridge, and CBSE master trainer. So may I request Mr. Sunil to please come forward and take this virtual stage?
Hello.
Yes,
very good evening to one and all present over here. Very insightful thinking is going on here, and I'm really very happy to see that all these participants who have spoken till now, especially you, Dr. Seema ma'am, Shaila ma'am, Caroline ma'am, and all of you have really brought important issues and solutions for all this. So with this, I would like to thank the organization for giving me the chance to speak. And really, it is very wonderful thing that we are discussing very important thing here. And when we come up to the SDG goal number 12, it is a responsible consumption and product. So if we see in today's world that the consumption of goods, finished goods, we can say, has increased a lot. And along with that, there is a tremendous pollution, and there are many more issues which are raising. All of us just discuss, but on the ground reality, who will bring it in practice is the most important thing. So today, Royal Council is taking this initiative. It is a matter of pride for everyone that if we are taking this initiative, I feel that the initiative should begin from the school children, because making the elders literate will not help out to make out these issues. All these educators who are here are having great challenge that these issues should be brought to the notice of the small kids, the children, And the children, if they are sensitized for all these SDGs, now I am at present working as the SDG, I'm visitor, and I am trying my level best to bring all these issues to the notice of the children as well as the institutes and all other, so that all these issues could be very easily and very impactfully brought into practice. When children are sensitized, they will bring all these practices, they will sensitize their parents, they will sensitize their neighbors. So now I'll tell you one example. In the earlier days, we had only 1 or 2 pair of clothes. But now, right now, if you'll just look back to our own self, we will find that we have n number of pair of clothes and all these things. So because of this excess increase in the number of wants or demands by everybody, the production has increased. Therefore, the production will naturally grow, the pollution, the population is growing. And so there is a kind of stress on all these issues. So what is important in all this is art. Important role. Nowadays, we are hearing reap things. That they realize that resources are to be used very judiciously, and all these resources which are to be used very judiciously should be reused, recycled, repaired, and all these resources should be used in a very minimized way. So the great responsibility should be shared by all the educators, and that transformation should take place through the students. So students will play a very important role here. And these students who are going to be the citizen of the next generation, they should use all these resources in a minimal and in a judicious way. Unless and until we sensitize the students, unless and until we make them to realize, unless and until we do it, they will not follow it. Only just making a kind of speech or just so displaying some posters will not satisfy the goal. These goals will be satisfied only if it is brought into practice through the children and through the students. So I find, Seema ma'am, I've seen many more of your sessions, and especially Sanjeevan School works a lot on this particular thing. I'm really very happy when I see all this, especially on the Facebook and all. So all these things, if they are brought into practice by all the schools and all the educators, it will really make a great difference. Substantial change can be brought only through the students. So responsible, who should be the responsible? Today, child should be made responsible. Then there will be a control on the consumption. Then automatically, ultimately, there will be a control on production. For this, what will play the important role is R. Reduce, reuse, recycle, repair, and all these things, if they are brought into practice, all these R. If they are brought into practice, this will surely serve the matter. I feel so. All over the world, if all these schools, all the educators will share a kind of school share, then all these main kind of things can be brought into practice. This is my view, and this is my practice, and this is my experience, where if the students are sensitized, then and then only it can be brought into practice. So 2-minute story I will tell you here. There was a saint. This is a story of around maybe 100 or 200 years ago. And this saint was once upon a time teaching his disciple. I asked the disciple, how is everything going on? Have you studied and all that? The disciple told everything, and at last the disciple said, Guru, my shirt is torn and I want a new shirt. At that time, the Guru asked him, what did you do of your previous old torn shirt? He said, that shirt I have used as a kind of a cloth with which I can clean the house and clean all the things. Then what did you do after that is torn? He said, all the threads I collected together, and of that I have made a thread, and with that I have lit the lamp. Means here each and every part of your the resource is brought into use to the last. And he asked, what did you do of that ash which was produced? Then he said that ash I have put near a tree, and that tree has grown. All the constituents are passed into the tree, and now again the trees will give the resource. So in this way, the responsibility or the kind of reality of these resources can be minimized, can be brought into practice, can be reduced and reused, recycled, and that is the main solution other than reducing the production. So with this, I conclude my short discussion, and I would like to thank Rajarao sir, Seema ma'am, then Shaili ma'am, as well as Aruna ma'am, and all other those who are present, who are eminent speakers, eminent panelists, and all others, those who are listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunil Bhakre. It was amazing, given with examples. And as an educationist, I would definitely not deny that, you mentioned that sensitizing the students is very, very important. And because if we guide them and if we give the responsibility to them, transformation should happen. Because until unless we give that awareness and guide them, transformation will not happen. So the school, the institutions, the colleges, the students have to be sensitized, and most importantly, using the resources judiciously. Wonderful. That was a good takeaway for all of us. Thank you so much. Now I go ahead and invite our next keynote speaker, Dr. Akash Midha, author, motivational speaker, eminent poet, and trainer. Dr. Akash Midha, the virtual stage is yours.
Good evening, ma'am. Can I share screen?
Dr. Rajarao, would you please make Dr. Akash the co-host? Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm trying, but it is disabled screen share. Yes, sir. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Yes, sir. But it is not visible from my side, actually.
It is visible. You can put it on the slide share mode. Yes.
Yeah. Good evening to all of you. Sorry for this technical glitch. First of all, I'm thankful to Dr. Rajarao Pagadpalli sir for inviting me in this Royal Council Conference World Peace Summit 2022, where we are talking about SDG 12 goals. And earlier speakers touched upon various topics regarding this SDG 12 and different kind of supply chain and different kind of wastage product, waste management and all things. And I will be concerned on specific topics, that is sustainable development goals, plastic and food waste management for sustainable development and future. So before that, I would want to quote something poetic. You see this particular scene? That it is written in Hindi, first of all. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Thank you. Chahana करना सब कुछ हासिल, उम्र भर सोचा यही बस, क्या बनाया बिना चाहे किसी के लिए, दिया क्या वापस कुदरत को, हुआ कोई क्या तुम भी कभी इस ख्याल में दाखिल. It means to say that do everything to get we like. Whatever we like, we want to achieve that. Thought this all the time in our tenure, in our life. Have you made something or done anything for someone without want or desire? We always want that what the other people will do for us, and one benefit of that, we are doing something for other person, and what you have given back to the nature. Have you ever entered into this thought that we have to give to this Mother Earth, Mother Nature? We have to give back to this nature whatever we are getting, but we are giving only negative things, negative vibes to this nature, and we are always getting positive vibes. And on the time of payback, we are not giving anything, and we are creating that much of stress and negative environment for the upcoming different children, you can say, generations, whosoever is coming in front of us in near future. Earlier, Sunil Bhakre sir told about that children should be educated. Before that, we have to educate ourselves for this basic understanding. Like, we know that everything, that basic understanding things, but we are not implementing. We are lacking in this particular targets. If we see in the slide, that is targets, led down by SDG framework, that is improving disposable of materials. I am from pharma background. Right now, in current scenario, USFDA and other authorities are thinking about how to dispose of medicine. First of all, we should care about that. If I also include this medicine disposable into this framework, that is to SDG 12, that is consumption and production. First of all, if we are consuming that medicaments for your day-to-day life, sometimes you are purchasing excessive materials, medicines for your health, for your betterment, for your cure, and you are taking only 3-day course from 5-day course, and the medicine is left out, 2 tablets or 4 tablets or 5 tablets. They are coming towards expiry, and what in last, you are just disposing of this particular medicament, dumping into the Mother Earth or in soil or in different places, wherever you find the place, you just dump out this particular material. So what you are doing, that this particular medicament material will come into the air, also in the water, and your drinking water system, this particular medicament will come, and you will suffer from that particular material, which is curing earlier to you. But right now you are suffering from that medicament wastage. So dispose of materials. This should we know. We should be educate ourselves regarding the disposable of different kind of products. They may be of different categories. Likewise, I given this farm example and basic materials. We are not aware, or maybe we are aware, but we are not doing that particular things. And by doing this, we are also losing that food materials and also doing worse things with plastic material also. We are making more and more type of products of plastics, and day-to-day basis, we are dumping into the different dumping yards, so-called dumping yards, we are saying. And we are also consuming different kind of mineral materials, fossil fuels and metals. And we are aware that these things are very much costly affairs, and having in future, we will not get that much of minerals, and this kind of scarcity will be there in future. But beyond that, we are doing that. Further, if I go for the next slide. One second, please. Is my slide visible?
It is visible, but I think you have selected the text that the slide's not going on the other slide. You have to change the slide.
Some technical issues going on. Yeah. So next slide is global material use. Overall, this is analysis upon research, different kind of researches. Up to 2030, this SDG goal, we are trying to achieve that different kind of targets. We are framing for that. But up to 2060, that is 75% of 167 million metric tons global material use, and different categories of that material are given. And middle level, low middle level economies are aspiring that much of standard. Everybody is running towards this rat race and want to achieve different kind of standards, so-called standards in their life. Global material use, I told you about that. in this, you can see on screen materials in different kind of gigatons. It is available global material use, that is in, you can say numbers, 37.11, that is biomass, and 24.12, that is fossil fuels, and other than metals and other materials are also available there. So this is a picture, which is a nutshell picture. And overall, if we are increasing this global material use, it is also increasing inevitable byproduct of societies that create consumable goods. Whatever consumable goods we are using, ultimately it is creating different kind of waste materials, which is 2 billion metric tons. More than that, it was observed in 2016. Right now, it is more than that. You can see that more than that means just double quantity. I think certain interruption in between from another mic. And global, this particular problem with this global waste is mostly seen in food and plastic products. And I will talk about this food products also. Food supply chain percentage, if we talk about different countries, you can say consumption pattern or production distribution and different kind of consumption pattern, you can, and processing also. You can see different countries data in South Asia and North America, and different kind of countries classification here given in this picture. You can go through it. I will not explain this overall things. So basically, we are going towards share of global waste, if we are talking about, by these overall consumption patterns from different countries and all. So if we categorize these things, that 44% food and green on this particular share of global waste products created by consumption of these food and green products, it means in food products, we are going towards very much wastage products, and also contribution towards plastic products, that is second one, 12%. And other than this, we are cutting the trees and using the paper and cardboard industry and other metals, 4%, 14% other materials. But major consumption of 44% is food and green, and 12% is plastic. So this overall, you can see according to the research survey based criteria, the classification and data are available on that. Food supply and chain and food loss, if we are talk about. So in this picture, we are using that pesticides and various kind of vermicides, different kind of chemicals we are using, and creating more and more demand and supply. And further, if we are talk about, we are creating demand and supply, but unfortunately, we are consuming that products by in different forms, vegetable, and but most of people are actually creating that mess, means wastage of that particular products, even though they know that there are different countries having problems with food and nutrition. People are having different kind of problems. They have disease because of malnutrition. Beyond that, people are getting more and more things and preserving them in their house, if we are talking about food products, and ultimately in their refrigerator. Lastly, this particular vegetable and different kind of materials die someday, and they struggle with their overall life. I'm talking about this vegetables, and they are also struggling, and ultimately they will die, and ultimately this will be disposed of in a dump yard. So this is our scenario, what we are doing with nature. And food supply chain, I already discussed about that. Food waste, that is after pandemic, heavily distributed globally supply chains, and also this worsened the production loss, because we saw that in lockdowns, restaurants, different hotel industry, they shut down, and they before that shutting down, they also procure the material from the market, and they purchase heavy materials, heavy groceries, and different kind of food products, but ultimately higher food cost because of uncertainty when will be the lockdown open. So this increases the food products wastage also and storage also, and ultimately we can see that some of the food materials are wasted overall this cycle. So overall, if we are talking about wasted every year, that is almost 2 billion people go hungry or undernourished. because of this food loss or food waste. And this is food loss or food waste is not because of natural things. It is, I should apologize to say that because of our foolishness, we are doing this particular thing, that is resources we are wasting, which is provided by the nature. Plastic, if we are talking about pandemic, it is increased. Consumption is increased because of single-use plastic. If we are talking about masks, personal protective equipment kits, or different kind of plastic-generated kits, different kind of products, which is preventive measures in different medicinal device industry, or you can say any healthcare industry. If we are talking about these type of products increased, and ultimately different measures we have taken for social distance, lockdown, and other things, use of plastic increased. Ultimately, this plastic is a trouble for us today now as a global waste we can see. And one example is here quoted in the slide. Thailand plastic waste has increased from 1,500 tons to 6,300 because of sharp increase in food deliveries, where the plastic products were used for the packaging of different kind of food products, and in health sector also this increased. So ultimately, if we consumption by stage, if we think about that, so primary production, that is in figures that is given in slides. Overall, what is required? That is utmost required in this production and consumption of this SDG goal of 12. That is how we dispose of the different category products in a particular manner. We always talk about this is very costly affair, but why we are creating that costly affair? Like I gave you example of medicines. Why not this policy to be adopted? Like if you left out with some medicine in your house, like 2 tablets just left out after consumption of medicines, 4 tablets, or you say different kind of category products, tablets are there spare. So that what should we do? We should donate that particular medicine just before expiry. You know that 2 years or 3 years expiry of that particular medicine, so that that particular product should be delivered to that needy person, whosoever needs, or different dispensaries or different NGOs are available, and different kind of people are available who can help you out to create that social awareness, how to use the medicine. That is another part. We can, as a pharmacist, can counsel the patients and other things. This is different aspect. But I'm talking about how to, whatever left that medicine before dumping into that particular material. Why not this particular material medicine to be used by different people whosoever in need, like food also, Robin Hood Army, and we different NGOs are there in different places right now in Jodhpur, that is in Rajasthan, and in my native place. Here is different kind of NGOs. They are working for food collection and after parties and all for needy persons, for hungry children or people, or for certain hospitals where the patients are admitted. But this is the by social efforts, societal efforts. If we are doing that, you can say marketing aspect, you should do that different kind of marketing gimmicks or strategies. But what we are doing for the societies, I also want to quote something regarding one example, if you permit me. That is different companies. Some examples are there. They are doing good job. That is, I want to quote, I collected this certain material. So great practices or functions which are management of dry waste and recycling, regarding environment friendly aspects, regarding the sustainable development goals to achieve regarding SDG 12, that different companies like certain software companies, the examples are they are using ceramic mugs or glass cups for beverages to save paper products, recycle that office supplies, discarded papers, purchasing recycled paper, and using refillable pens. These kind of techniques are nowadays adopted by different corporate houses and private sector. If we are talking about e-commerce company, that is Flipkart. So in their Bangalore building, what they did, that is potable water. Regarding this, 4,000 liters of potable water every week they are saving, and not to add 10,000 plastic bottles to landfill every year, because employees have using stainless steel bottles. They are not using plastic bottles. So that's why they are a huge company. So they are saving that plastic bottles, that is around 10,000 bottles. So they are saving that dump yard to dump that particular plastic bottles. And OLX India, this is also, they replace their tableware in cafeterias. Whatever tableware of that plastic materials, they just wave off that particular plastic material, this particular tables, and they are using different kind of materials where they can reduce that particular wastage of that particular materials. Pune based one company is there that is working with different companies, another companies, and they are also working on how to save that disposable plastic papers and different kind materials, sustainable consumption practices they are working. And like Mumbai based Mahanagar Gas Limited, natural gas distribution company, they are also using conversion of waste paper into writing pads and envelopes. This, whatever waste paper they get, they making them into writing pads and envelopes. That is the recycle of that particular materials. And also certain companies, one of that Abdul Rahman, one is product manager of that one Hyderabad based company. They are also using, they are working with Google India, Infosys and Hindustan and different Unilever company and different companies. And they are working on different Tetra Pak waste materials, juice packages for that particular material that should be environment friendly. They are working on that. So this is overall scenario that is for helping the environment. So our efforts will work on this juncture if we do, like we are doing this particular conference where we are sharing the ideas, what would be the best for the future. Likewise, we discussed about like children contribution. Earlier, our guest talked about regarding researches, industries, factories developed for the sustainable industries which are developing on recycling and different kind of work like AICT projects are conducted. So these type of contribution together efforts will work on, and ultimately we will achieve this sustainable development growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akash, for sharing your valuable thoughts on the waste management and reducing plastic and giving examples of a couple of the corporates and what they are going ahead and implementing as project-based to save our environment. Thank you so much for your shares here. Our next speaker, let me call upon Mr. Sharang Ambadkar, founder and CEO, Feel Good Eco Nurture. The virtual stage is yours, Mr. Sharang.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Aruna, Dr. Aruna, for that introduction. It is an honor to be speaking in front of such dignitaries, and I am really privileged to have this opportunity given by Dr. Raja Rao and my principal, sir, of Atharva College of Engineering, who spoke very highly of me during his talk. And so before saying anything, I would like, before saying at all, I'm here to show what we do and what are we doing for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And goal number 12 is the most important goal that we are focusing and trying to give a solution for. As just before this, my talk, we saw that how much problem is being created due to pollution happening all around the world. But we need, just not by talking, we won't solve the problem. We need to have solutions. We need to give out proper solutions, sustainable solutions, which will help us to achieve these goals and create a better environment. Before saying anything, we all have been telling to save the environment. But I would like to specify that we are not here to save the environment, because environment is going to save itself, as it has done for a very long time. Even after the Big Bang, even after the dinosaurs were extinct, and even after a lot of tragic scenarios that happened on the earth, environment will save itself. Here today we are to save ourselves and not the environment, because we are the problem and we have to work to create a solution. So the goal number 7 focuses on reducing the consumption. And for the reducing in consumption, the 5R must be always followed by everyone. The first one is to reject what is not needed, to refuse, then to reuse, reduce the use, then recycle. The 5 steps, if we follow it, we are reducing the use of consumption and responsibly using whatever that we have. If we only use this 5 Rs, we certainly will achieve at least some percentage of the goal that we are trying to achieve by 2030. After that, Mr. Sunil sir had mentioned about how we are creating awareness, how we should create awareness within the students, which is the need of the hour. And I would like to proudly say that our organization is creating awareness each and every day. We have a goal of 365 days of awareness of each year. So every day, one awareness is being carried away in some part of the country through our partners. But yes, we are doing that, and we are trying our level best to create an awareness for the younger generation, which is the future of the country. Now, what does my company exactly do, and how are we trying to solve the problem? As you heard, my company's name is Feel Good Eco Nurture. So we are trying to make everyone feel good while nurturing the environment. So the main problem in today's world is the plastic pollution, which is haywired everywhere, saying that plastic is the problem. But I am of the point that plastic is not the problem, but it is the solution. And plastic is the only material, the magical material, I would call it, because of which we are right now speaking to each other. Because if plastic was not available, then we would not have been easily tackled the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. The medicines would have not been carried to us. There would not have been vaccinations which use syringe, which is plastic. We would not have PPE masks. So plastic is not the problem, but disposing plastics irresponsibly is the problem. So responsibly disposing of the plastics can become a solution. So I am into recycling of plastics. We have our factory at Indore, which is the cleanest city of India, and at Mumbai. So in Indore, we are recycling around 1,100 metric tons of plastics each and every day, which is the largest recycling facility in India. And we recycle not only the plastics like PET bottles, HDPE bottles, which is high-grade plastics, but we recycle something like this. As you see, this is called as multi-layered plastics. It has different layers of plastics and also metal inside it. This has aluminum inside it. So I'm not just going to talk about it. I am just going to show you what we do about it. So firstly, firstly, I would like to clear out that material like every material has a life cycle, basically, from birth to its end. it has some consumption, like Miss Anna Maria said during her talk, that no material can be made without any emissions. So, but we can make material while having lowest emissions, like glass, metal. Glass is produced at more than around 1,800 degrees. Metal is processed more than 2,000 degrees. So this much of heat while producing material is emitted, which directly is associated with the carbon emissions, which is produced during the production of this material. But plastic is the only sustainable material, I would say, is processed only below 200 degrees, which is the lowest carbon emitting material right now available to us. So plastic, that's why I say that plastic is not the problem, but it is a magical material, which is creating and giving us opportunities to create newer and sustainable products. Firstly, what our company does is we are trying to replace wood by plastics. That is because we know that deforestation or cutting down of trees is causing a lot of carbon dioxide. It captures less carbon dioxide. So with some solutions like this is all multi-layered plastics, just like I have shown you. So this is a sheet that we make, which is just as a replacement of plywood, which is used to make furnitures. This is what we do, and something like this is a more denser and a more economical solution towards a sustainable future to replace wood, and also it does not need to cut down any natural resources. It is using all the waste that is lying around in the landfills, in the dustbins that we all have at our home. This is the first solution that we are trying to make to replace wood. The second one, and the most important, is if you all are from sustainability background, and we all know the largest emitter of carbon dioxide is concrete or cement, which is 8% of the largest CO2 emitter in the world. So, but it is the building block of going ahead, or of building the future. As a developing country in India, there are construction going around everywhere, each and everywhere. In the urban, the rural areas are becoming urban. There are metros coming. There are trains, logistics. Everything is developing, and we should do that. But we have a chance to develop it sustainably. So before showing that, I would just like to show what we are doing. Okay, so I think if I just can share my screen.
Dr. Rajarao, please make
yes,
it.
Yes. It is open. Yes, I'll just show it to you. Is my screen available? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
This is a 1 minute short video, after which I'll show you the product in hand. Is it audible?
No, it's not audible.
Okay, just a minute.
But it still seems very self-explanatory. So if while it is going on, you can explain that. That is also fine.
Okay, fine. So our vision is to basically achieve circular economy through using the waste that has been disposed. So making the material out of waste is creating a circular economy to also help our developing country and others to keep the waste into the economy, because the material that has been made already has been invested some amount of economics or money into it. So if we just throw it away, we are not only throwing the material, but we are throwing away the money that was printed to keep in the country. So this is the multi-layered plastic, which is granulated. And this is a tile that we make out of multi-layered plastics, which is basically a replacement for concrete. And also, these are the clients that we are currently catering to. And as you can see, there are footpaths. There are this is my factory's inner area. This is my office's outside wall. This is a footpath that we have built in Borivali, and many more things that we have done can be seen. So this is how the tile looks. This is 100% made out of multi-layered plastics. The plastics which no one recycles. Even if you try to give it to your local recycler, he is not going to buy it because it does not have a value. Or I would like to recorrect it. It did not have a value until we created something like this. Right now, we are creating something like this, and the life cycle, just as I mentioned earlier, every material has to go through a life cycle. At the end of the day, it has to go somewhere. But this material that we are making will never go to waste, because it can return to the factory or the processing unit and once again given a new life by recycling it. And this is what we do. We also make some different materials out of multi-layered plastic waste. This is a mobile stand that we do. This is a triangular mobile stand which basically can hold your mobile stand in different angles. Then a similar stuff is we are trying to do to basically solve main two problems: deforestation and reduce the use of concrete. And these are the solutions which are encouraging people around me, because I come from an IT background, an IT engineer who is doing this, and polymer engineers around me who I am working with really find it motivational to do something for the environment with a different mindset. All it takes is just a change in mindset to create something, to innovate something, and that's how while we think differently, different and innovative solutions will come and save the future generations and ourselves, and not the environment, because environment is here to stay. It is just us who need to save ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarang. That was really insightful. And seeing the young entrepreneur coming out with such sustainable solutions, that gives me a lot of hope. And as an educator, that gives me a lot of satisfaction also that, yes, we are bringing up a generation who will make the better world. And thank you so much. And definitely, as you said, you have one establishment in Mumbai and one in Indore. I would definitely like to get in touch and show my students that, see, this is what you can do. And change can start from each one of us. So thank you for being that change maker. And this also reminds me the Greek Indian prophecy that says, only when the last tree has been cut, the last fish been caught, and the last stream poisoned, we will realize we can't eat money. So be sensible, become someone who can make waste feel good through the circular economy that Sarang is doing. So thank you, Sarang, for showing us that hope that, yes, future is sustainable, future is in right hand with the youth like you. So thank you so much. And also, I would like to congratulate the lovely principal, Dr. Shrikant Kulurkar, because he was so proud of you. So many times during his deliberation, he took his name, and each word that he spoke about you, you have proved it right. We are so very proud of you.
Thank you very much. And it is an honor to be speaking besides him. it really is a great feeling that he is promoting and helping me to set a stage at such a level. And also, you can connect me. I'm sharing the links to connect with me, and how can we take this ahead. I'm already open to all of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite our speakers. My humble request from the speakers to kindly maintain the time so that all of us will be here to listen to each and every deliberation. So next is Dr. Gunjan Shukla. Dr. Gunjan Shukla is HOD Management, Renaissance University, Indore. Dr. Shukla, this stage is all yours. We are all ears to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And very good evening, one and all present. It's pleasure. It's matter of pleasure that I got the opportunity to share my views with all of you when it comes to SDG 12, that is responsible consumption and production. And, somewhere I want to say that this goal is very close to my heart, because I completely agree with the point of my previous speaker, Mr. Sarang, as he said that, now we don't have time to just discuss the things, but we should bring all those things into action now. So what I feel is, according to me, when I have studied a lot about this goal, I completely agree with the point that, all previous speakers and all of us are quite aware of all the reports which are there on Google and on internet, and all the UN work which has been done, and all the government initiatives which government is doing. So that's their part they are doing. Now, when it comes to responsible consumption and production, I completely feel that, being a consumer, this is my responsibility, that I need to work on my habits. So if my habits gets changed, my behavior will change. And if my behavior will change, definitely the way I'm consuming the things will change. And if that will change, of course, when companies are, doing a lot of survey, they are trying to study the current trends and the taste and preferences of the customers. They definitely would come to know a point that, every customer is now aware of, protecting environment. Because as we always say that by 2030, we need to reduce waste generation, and we need to practice something where we can bring improvement in the process, and we can really prevent our Mother Earth by saving the natural resources. So we should take care of, as my previous speaker said, that we need to think of all those R, reuse, recycle. So here I would like to add on with another R, that is rethink. So we all are aware that whenever we are sitting free at home, we move for shopping. And when we go out for shopping, sometimes we go for panic buying. Sometimes when few things are not required to us, we buy it. How many of us really ask ourselves a question that, do we really need this stuff? Should we buy it? Is it eco-friendly? Is whatever brand is manufacturing that product is, taking care of all those CSR policies or kind of good habits or good practices that a company needs to do? Are they really taking care of child labor and all other things, all ill practices? They are not doing that, any unethical practice. They are very ethical in producing and all those things. So being consumer, it's our duty now to make our habits more sustainable. When it comes to sustainability, I want to bring into your notice that sustainability is not only when we are saying that it's a framework where we have 17 goals and we are just working on each and every goal. I must say that sustainability also comes from the society. It is also about the environment. It is also about the economy. It is about the traffic. It is about the power consumption. It is about the CO2 emission, as my previous speaker mentioned it, that, we can have healthy practices of production where we can really control the kind of pollution we are creating. And somewhere we can have all those things in, all those practices in our daily life where we can recycle the things. Now, I don't want to get into all those technical aspects or any kind of report presentation or any statistical presentation, because I want to make this very simple for each and every one of us so that we can really think of it and we can, make a change from tomorrow itself. That if I am going to my workplace, I myself practice this. I would love to share with all of you that I try to, once in a week, I ride cycle to my workplace. I go with cycle, else I pull the car because I want to save environment. I want to reduce the pollution. When it comes to, power consumption, I make sure that whenever I'm moving out of my workplace or from any other place, whenever I'm going across to any other, passage or at home or somewhere, I take care that I should switch off the lights. I take care that when I am cooking, when I'm working in the kitchen, whatever residue I am getting, I recycle those things. I would love to mention this, that I'm maintaining a kitchen garden on my terrace where I have grown all this muskmelon, watermelon by, using all those kitchen stuff, and I'm preparing all manure and everything at home itself. And I have maintained a garden where I am also using all those washed water with that water with which I clean my dal and rice and vegetables. That used water I again reuse for my kitchen garden. I am using all those waste stuff and preparing manure, all those kitchen stuff. And also I'm trying to reduce the wastage of plastic when it comes to buying anything, or when it comes to as it was mentioned, I proudly say that I also belongs to Indore, which is one of the cleanest city. So there is a tradition now that every morning a vehicle is coming to collect the garbage. So I am very happy to share this. Whenever that vehicle comes to my area, they hardly visit at my residence because they always say that this is a home where there is a zero waste. So we try to reduce the waste by our daily, day-to-day practices, the way we are living life. I make sure that, whenever I am feeling like having any kind of, hair spa or something like that, I go for aloe vera gel, which I have grown at home. So here I want to mention, I want to quote this, I want to underline that currently, if 26 or 27 participants, we are there at this platform, connected right now. I want all of you to take a pledge that from tomorrow itself, or from today itself, try to bring a change in your consumption habits. If you can bring that change in your consumption, is going to, inspire others around you, inspire others around your society. Because when I started practicing all those things, I used to post all these pictures on my Facebook. So, people who used to watch those pictures and they used to ask me that what are the ways of maintaining all this garden and how are you preparing manure and everything, and how you are, avoiding usage of chemicals or, that harsh chemicals and, the stuff which is very difficult to somewhere, recycle, or sometimes it is very difficult to dispose as well. So taking care of all those things, you also inspire others, and somewhere this inspiration to others, help them to make a change or to bring a change in their own habits. I would also like to mention that, living into the land of festival, that is India, we have very grand festivals like Ganesh festival, Ganesh Chaturthi, or Durga festival. I would love to mention here. Sorry, I forgot to carry all those pictures to my presentation today, but I would love to mention here that every year I take a eco-friendly Ganesha making workshop where I teach people that, if you're preparing any idol or statue of Ganpati or any, goddess or god, try to make that particular idol of, pure mud, which can be, if you want to dissolve it, it can be used for in the garden also. When I put seeds in that particular statue and when I water it, after sometimes, there are sprouting happens and plants, come up, saplings grow. So somewhere these small habits are helping me to reduce the wastage, to inspire others. Again, I want to mention one more habit of mine that, whenever I'm moving around, I try and avoid usage of plastic bottles. I don't buy water bottle. I always carry a flask with me. I carry a steel glass tumbler with me to avoid the usage of that plastic glass, that plastic bottle. I refill it. There are so many refilling stations also. And if you don't want to consume water from outside, you can always carry something extra, some more bigger flask, and you can consume water. So which is again, somewhere it is also protecting your health. you are not consuming something which is poisonous, because when water is stored in plastic bottles, I completely agree that nowadays there are kind of plastics available which are easy to recycle. But then again, I want to mention that why we can't get back to the lifestyle which was being followed by our forefathers, where they used to carry all those mud water bottles, or steel water bottles or flask. So these are the small practices, small habit change, which can really bring a big change in the total scenario, where we are saying that by 2030 we need to attain those goals, and 2030 is not far away. It's just very short span is left with us. And because we are growing day by day, after some it has been mentioned in a report, you all will agree with me, that by 2050 we are going to need another 3 planets like which we are living today, because population is growing like anything. So what I feel is, sustainable consumption and production is one of the goal, having a holistic approach where we can manage the resources, where we can reduce the wastage. When it comes to transportation, we can reduce energy consumption, we can reduce pollution. When it comes to procurement, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to lifestyle, everything can be well managed when it comes to goal 12. Now, again, I want to say that most of us will agree with this point that, maybe many of us might be carrying 2 mobile phones with us. We need to understand that, a mobile phone is made of very specific kind of elements which are produced by Mother Earth, which are extracted by the mines. They're very important minerals or metals. I would love to mention that when it comes to minerals which are used for making a mobile phone, it has gold, lithium, aluminum, copper, lead, nickel, silver, zinc, all those important. So when we buy a mobile, we never give it a thought. And you all will agree with me, you all must be having another handset which is not in use and kept in the drawers at our home. So I want to mention here that when it comes to buying an electronic gadget or a mobile phone, dear all, it is made of those important minerals which can't be recycled at times, and they are going at waste. We extract the minerals, we manufacture, we make a packaging, we transport all these things, and then they are in the markets, on big showrooms, we go and buy. After sometimes a new technology comes, and that old phone is kept in the drawers, and all those old phones are again creating lot of wastage. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is, by improving and working on your habits, you can reduce lot of wastage which is producing by food. I want to mention that food wastage is around 44% of food wastage is there. 12% of plastic wastage is there. Lot of wastage or related to metals and minerals are being done by us, as at times we don't make any thoughtful decisions while buying or while using any stuff. So it is very, very important. And another point I want to mention is when it comes to production. Now, as I mentioned, that if being consumer, I am working on my habits, is going to change the way of consumption and patterns of my lifestyle. Now, it is again going to appeal the kind of producers which they keep on doing the survey and want to understand the taste and preferences. They will again bring a change in their production methods also, because they will also understand that such kind of stuff has been avoided by the customer, and now they have become so aware. My point is, we all are aware, but when it comes to making decision, we avoid it. When we are going to buy something, and when there are 2 stuff, one t-shirt is branded and another one is made of organic stuff and all those things, so we are getting more attracted toward the branded item. So I am requesting everyone that give it a thought always. When I said rethink, give it a thought while buying, give it a thought while consuming, so that the production pattern gets changed. Now when it comes to production, as I mentioned, it will be getting affected by the change in the consumption pattern. Again, there are specific processes which can be used by the producers. One I want to mention is Six Sigma. Now, when it comes to Six Sigma, if all the organizations or the producers or manufacturers can really think of using Six Sigma type of technology or kind of methods which talks about the zero wastage, zero error, and lean methods where it is always elimination of wastage is the criteria while delivering a product or service to customer. So I am hereby very much interested in saying that when it is about production methods, we again want to reduce the wastage. We want to produce a product where we can satisfy the needs of customer, as well as we can protect the environment. So we can really adopt all these lean and Six Sigma methods, which will be helpful to us in wastage reduction of wastage. It will reduce the economic loss. It will reduce the cost of the organization. It is again going to help in maintaining the air pollution or climate change or soil and water contamination. And it is going to help us in tackling the waste by good methods, or we can also control the harmful air emissions which we are getting from the produce most of the industries and factories. So Lean and Six Sigma has that goal that improve process and performance through waste elimination and cycle time reduction, fast production, and with low pollution and low wastage. So, at the end, I want to conclude all my points here that, according to me, when it comes to goal 12, I have not taken a lot of statistics in my presentation or my speech, but I want to say that, these are the methods where when it comes to production and when it comes to consumption, we can really think of getting into this two kind of directions. Improving our own habits, and when it comes to producers, by applying all such methods like Six Sigma or lean methods to produce avoid the wastage and to produce whatever has been required and to protect the environment. So that's all about my thoughts and my words I wanted to share with all of you today, and would like to thank Dr. Rajarao sir and Dr. Caroline ma'am, because I felt that this is the platform where I don't want to bring a technical presentation. I just want to convey what I want to say. And even when I'm with my friends, I try to convey this message that bring a change in your lifestyle and be the game changer. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gunjan. This reminds me a few lines. Virtues are formed in men by his doing the actions. So this was told by Aristotle, and we know it is way back. Then writer Will Durant interpreted it thusly: we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. So in other words, excellence isn't this thing that you do at one time. It is a way of life. So make sustainable consumption a way of life, like Dr. Gunjan Shukla did. These small insight that you are doing, that is what actually is the action that everybody can take. And if each one of us can start taking these small actions in whatever form we are doing, then definitely we can reach the goal that we are deliberating about. Yes, it's time to rethink, not just rethink, sit down, rewind, reset, and relearn. Relearn from your habit, reflect, and see how you can make a better world, because each one of you, me, and the entire world, it's our responsibility. We can be the change, how Dr. Shukla is the change. Thank you so much for this insightful deliberation. Thank you. We are really honored by your presence. Moving ahead, now I take this opportunity to invite again one of the loveliest person, Engineer Sonesh Bhardwaj, certified corporate behavioral trainer, life business coach, and a wonderful human being. So Sonesh, this entire virtual stage is all yours. Rajarao sir, I can see Sonesh here. Yes, she's there. I can see her.
Hello,
Yes,
am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but you are not visible.
Just give me a minute. I'm just setting my technical things.
So, bye.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and all of you and all excellency of the World Peace Council of the 12th day. And I'm very grateful to as today I'm speaking as a speaker here the some few minutes because yesterday I have my flyer is released, but my health is a problem, so I cannot attend this program. But in factly, I'm very thankful to my friend Dr. Rajarao particularly and also Caroline Madam, who is the heading in the 18 days of the beautiful program in the World Sustainable Growth in the World Peace Summit 2022. On behalf of his responsibility as the Chief Executive of the Board, so I am arranging so many persons, those are the various important persons, these various topics. So I can arrange one to for first day to and the last day ending. So that is our responsibility. I can do my work by on behalf of the screen. But today is a very good topic in the of plastics of the production capable of the environment, land of the environment. So basically, I am a a national social activist of the last 12 years. I also work observing the different subject in the environment because as the environment, I have starting my work in the river side. The river side, some of trees are. You know that now the stage in the after the different trees are not having to proper way stable. मैंने आपका जो green cultivation है जो they are not properly maintaining in the of the society. So we are basically focused about that tree plantation because the tree plantation is required for the of the one of the environment part. So we are right now starting of the one the river area of the people river area the river area. We should how can will be towards properly maintaining in the environment towards a work in the of tree plantation. I am starting up the work in right now the last 2-3 years, and environment will be already I have established the 1 lakh. I am planning to 1 lakh about the of tree plantation in the our area. Now already planning that already starting from the before the COVID pandemic are not working. Now we starting the next month to starting of this work, and we also also collaboration also a World Peace Council also they because they are doing the so many things. So we are also collaboration also this program. The environment program is we already have the done a good program in the total beautiful plantation program in the one of the very good specialists in India. He's working in the of environment line. So he has given to this task job to ourselves, and also we are planning to also a plastic bottle. Plastic bottle you are using the day-to-day basis by the drinking water or something different of the different food will be taken. But now we starting the one of the planning to that plastic bottle. We are starting a totally planning to that one different towards by environment line of the green plantation to some plastic bottle starting of the one of the production will be starting up the very soon. The one of the two people are there engineer of IIT engineer. They are working in this line of the of environment plastic plastic engineering. So they are planning to that some plastic bottle to planning a beautiful structure will be thinking about that. Also we planning to those are the day-to-day wastage food. We are using the hotel and different hotel. We are using going to hotel and taking the food and also towards after the many restaurants were going to the taken the food and also if the problem arise. So if they have taken the food and food after the food wastage, they were of the dustbin. But we are planning. We are not planning to that wastage food will be to there to damage there. We are planning that this food will be to using by the different other those are the not taken the food. We also to this using the food of the different of the food and of shelter food of clothes and everything, but distributing the other people's. So this is the main scenario of the we are working in the environment product line, and we basically focus about how can because now the COVID pandemic completed. Now we have the problem arise in the environment basic because the environment now the basic necessity of the basic need of our society. Now the if the not a hot season and the problem arise that when the sun set sun is going that we will problem that the environment will be having to capture the taken the body and would to some problem arise. So how can we save the problem as these environment things we can definitely will be do it positively, and we'll be thinking about the like of good work in the like of the like product of the environment, like different environment specialist will be do the like of the different Western things, and the Western thing will be not properly like towards proper not maintaining. They will be do damage things will be there. There will be definitely as a purely will be how can it be sort out the things. And I've seen also the today also one speaker is like of Saramji also speaking about something. I've listened about this thing. This is very much required in the society, because this is the very important things for our society, and this is the main focus in our productivity line. And we always support the like of the World Peace Council, whatever will do the work in the virtually for the last 18 days working. But now we'll be planning to that. Rajarao sir already telling the discussion with that physical, we're doing a very good program in the conference in the Delhi from the sustainable growth. So we'll definitely planning to that supporting and cooperation the World Peace Council always, and all the eminent speakers and all the eminent guests will already happy to coming here in the World Peace Council, and they are very much supporting ourselves future. And definitely World Peace Council in the near future in the 2020 vision definitely has a great success story in the entire world history. So thank to the Rajarao sir again, Rajarao sir and Caroline madam. They are the very beautiful exercise in the this sustainable growth in the like of the virtually, and he has very commendable job and very good job they are doing. And I have seen the perception in the Dr. Rajarao sir last 3 years in the virtually, but now he's doing a physical work in the after the complete in the virtually program. The World Peace Summit definitely will be supporting future, and anything work will be whatever any support ourselves definitely do it and positively do it. And our commitment promise, our organization will be supporting always and forever. And we are always the one family, one being a one family, one goal and one mission, one success. So this is our the manifesto of the our like World Peace Councils of the activity. So we definitely thank you all of you, and thank you eminent speaker, eminent guest today, and also various beautiful speaker in the listening the various speaker in the by different panelists. So I thank to all of you, and all again thank you to Dr. Rajarao sir, and hand over to Dr. Rajarao sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajnikant Mishra ji. Indeed, very, very powerful deliberation by you. And something that you spoke about trees, you know, it is so very important. Yes, it is very important to take care of the waste food also so that it reaches to the right hand. But yes, when we talk about trees, we need to understand that if we save tree, and saving tree, when we talk about this, is not something that is a thing of past. It is, if we do not save them right, you know, it might happen that our children will see the leaves in the museum. And I know we don't want that thing. We want trees to be there. So if you cut a tree, you kill a life. If you save a tree, you save a life. If you plant a tree, you plant a life. So together, let's plant life, because that is our mission. We need to be responsible towards our nature. We need to be responsible about our future. And this again takes me back to Sonesh. Sonesh, now the entire virtual screen is here. And since you are talking about trees, and it looks so good when we see the virtual leaves behind you. So now take it over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So good evening, a lovely good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all the zones and everybody who's joining globally on this platform. And my heartfelt thanks, first of all, to Rajarao sir, Caroline ma'am, and wonderful Dr. Seema Negi for such a powerful introduction. And once again, thanks to all the eminent speakers and chief guests who has joined for this wonderful World Peace Summit. So without further delay, let me just take it out. And today, again, is a very, very powerful theme, what we are going to talk about, SDG 12. So many eminent speakers so far was talking about very, very key critical things. If I have to highlight, whether it was plants, it was about food, it was about wastage in any form. Slightly, I want to take your consideration into what we are doing in terms of business. But before that, let me just slightly start onto a simple thing, that the goal 12, what we talk about is about ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So worldwide, when we talk about consumption and production, it is a driving force of the global economy and rests on the use of the natural environment and resources in a way that continues to have destructive impacts on the planet. So more or less, as so many eminent speakers so far have spoken about, whether it is plastic, it is food, or it is any sort of wastage, what we are doing directly or indirectly have an impact on our planetary growth, or in other form, I can say there are destructive outcomes out of it. So why this SDG 12 becomes quite important, let's understand this first, as it underpins every other sustainable development goal from zero poverty to peace and justice. Nevertheless, its idea creates lots of resistance since it poses a significant threat to the status. Despite being a great social, environmental, and economical sustainability. Now, if I have to highlight here the 4 targets, if I talk about under SDG 12, what are those and how it helps us to maintain the sustainability of this SDG 12? So there are certain targets, indicators, and progress based on SDG 12, which we all need to understand if we really want to maintain our sustainability in terms of SDG 12. Target number 1, if I talk about, it pretty much focuses on that how we implement our 10-year sustainable consumption and production framework. Basically, we are trying to highlight, are we ready with some sort of blueprint if we are really looking out towards the sustainability of SDG 12? Target number 2 should be sustainable management and use of natural resources. Now, when we talk about natural resources, nowadays, I think everyone is well aware about what is happening with the coal or petroleum prices, or if you talk about petrol, diesel, and any other natural resources, whatever you talk about. Third thing, when we say about the global per capita food waste, like the previous speaker was talking very wonderfully, that food, the amount of food wastage which goes into the dustbin is something which we need to think on a very, very priority basis nowadays. Because I have seen there is one segment where people don't get even 1 time or 2 time daily time food as well. But there are certain units and certain areas where we see that there is a tremendous wastage towards that food practice. The 4th target and indicator point here we need to understand is responsible management of chemicals and waste. Now, this is one area which we all actually ignore to the best, because we feel it's okay as long as this is not contributing much. But my dear friends, I do believe that this is the most important critical factor which we need to control right now if we really want to progress in SDG 12. Now, how this SDG 12 can be achieved? By a simple way. You switch to energy efficient. Say example, CFL light bulbs, if we talk about. Use water and electricity only when needed, or reduce wasted food to a bare minimum. Now, in order to implement all this, we need to follow a sustainable lifestyle and encourage others to do the same in a massive step towards achieving this goal, SDG 12. Now, when I say about SDG 12, there are a couple of questions which we need to ask to ourselves and everybody who wants to probably do something progress in this particular goal. Question number 1 you should ask is, why does SDG 12 responsible production and consumption become important to the manufacturing industry? So I want to bring to your kind notice that so far, though we talk about all the target indicators, but we certainly ignore this manufacturing industry concept. And that's where they actually contribute majorly towards the chemical and other waste products coming out from their manufacturing units. Number 2, you need to consider here achieving economic growth and sustainable development requires that we urgently reduce our ecological footprint by changing the way we produce and consume goods and resources. What does it mean when commercial products are produced with sustainability in mind? Now, this is a question you literally should ask to yourself. Why we talk about sustainability so much? Because if there is no sustainability in terms of whatever product we are creating, whether it is coming from a manufacturing unit or there is some sort of manufacturing waste which is coming out and which is actually polluting the entire climatic conditions, or you name it, where it is going as a destructive product. A product is usually considered sustainable if it does not deplete natural non-renewable resources, A sustainable product is made from renewable resources. In other words, if I have to tell, resources that cannot be fully depleted. So this is something which we need to keep in our mind while we are talking about manufacturing units. Sustainable products are those products that provide environmental, social, economical benefits while protecting public health and environment over their whole life cycle. Now, this is where we need to understand that we create a product, we generate some particularly XYZ outcome out of that particular product, and it again pollute our environment because we are least bothered about what sort of outcome we are creating to our environment. So we have to be extremely careful when we talk about the raw material to be used till we have the final disposal. This world is full of uncertainty. Monumental changes, including climatic changes, poverty, and inequality, if we talk about. These are the forefront of daily life and seemingly becoming even more urgent. But one thing that is not uncertain is the need for change. The general goal, if I have to say about a sustainable business strategy, where I want to bring your kind focus, which we generally ignore, is to positively impact the environment, society, or both. While you also benefit the shareholders, business leaders are realizing the power of sustainable business strategies in not only addressing the world's most pressing challenges, but driving their firm's successes. However, defining what sustainability means, solidifying clear and attainable goals. And you need to formulate a strategy to achieve those goals that it can be daunting. One common way to understand a business sustainability efforts is using a concept which I want to highlight here is triple bottom line. Now let's understand what is this triple bottom line. This is apparently the solution which we need to understand if we really want to progress on SDG 12 specifically. So the triple bottom line is basically a business concept that posits firms should commit to measuring their social and environmental impact. Their moral responsibility is not to just have success, not to just have profit, and then you just create some destructive product and you harm the entire environment and people who are living in that particular environment. In addition to their finance performance, rather than solely focusing on generating profit or the standard bottom line, you break this whole triple bottom line into 3 P's. And what are those 3 P's? First is your profit, second is your people, and third is your planet. So when we say about profit, no doubt any capitalist economy you take, a firm's success most heavily depends on its financial performances. Whether profit it generates for shareholders. Strategic planning, initiatives, and key business decisions are generally carefully designed to maximize the profits while reducing the cost. Second is people. The second component of your triple bottom line highlights a business social impact or its commitment to people. Because directly or indirectly, you are responsible for the people who you are impacting, either through your business strategies or by directly getting in contact with them. And it is so very important to make the distinction between a firm shareholder and a stakeholder. Traditionally, if we see, businesses have always favored shareholders, right, as an indicator to success. But meaning, do they strive to generate value for those own shares of the company, as firms have increasingly embraced sustainability? They have shifted their focus towards creating value for all the stakeholders impacting by business decisions, including customers, employees, community members. Simple ways a companies can serve a society include ensuring fair hiring practices and encouraging volunteerism in the workplace. They can also look externally to affect change on a larger scale. For instance, like I can give an example, many organizations have formed successful strategic partnership with NGOs to share a common purpose-driven goals. This can be one of the best practices. They can always help to attain SDGs. Now, when I talk about the third key crucial component, that is nothing but the planet. The final component of triple bottom line we need to understand is planet, and it is concerned with making a positive impact on the planet. Since the birth of the Industrial Revolution, large corporations have contributed a staggering amount of pollution to the environment, which has been a key driven of climatic change. So if as the business have historically been the greatest contributor to the climate change, they also hold the keys to driving positive change. Now, many business leaders are now recognizing the responsibility to do so. The effort is not solely on the shoulders of the world's largest corporations. Virtually, I believe all the businesses have the opportunity to make changes that reduce their carbon footprint. Adjustments like using ethically sourced material, cutting down on energy consumption, and streamlining shipping practices are the steps in the right direction which people need to focus in order to contribute the maximum towards SDG 12. Because directly and indirectly, somewhere I feel we highlight plastic, we highlight food, we highlight all other key elements, but we completely miss on this particularly larger segment where we can contribute very powerfully just by working on special key these highlighters which I have mentioned in the form of target indicators. And I hope this can definitely give that key, I would say, eye opener to everyone who love to work on to SDG 12. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much. Love, light, and peace to all of you.
Wonderful. Engineer Sonesh Bharadwaj, it was amazing listening to you and putting the highlights on certain aspects, which is like, providing the information about the important targets that is based on the goal 12 and wastage of food to the minimum. Very much required because that is the need of an hour. And also leading sustainable lifestyles and providing the general goal, focusing on the general goal, like positive impact on the society. Very well said that yes, we all as educators, we all as edupreneurs, we all as entrepreneurs, we need to think about it and how well we can go ahead and, mold ourselves to go ahead and save the future. Thank you so much for your wonderful thoughts shared here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aruna ma'am. It was lovely hearing from you. And it's always my pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure as well. Thank you. And yes, I would invite now Dr. Raja Rao to take it forward from here. It's our pleasure, Dr. Rajarao, because when we are committed, we are in the group and we are one of the core committee member and we have taken the responsibility. So accountability comes, and when accountability comes, we have to do that what is required for the team and for the group. Always. Thank you.
At the end of the day, we are a team. And the work that you're doing, it's for the betterment of the entire humankind. So it's always an honor to be a part of it. Though we do understand sometimes we have our limitations, but seeing your and Caroline ma'am's enthusiasm and your vision, I think this is the smallest thing that we can do. I think Dr. Aruna will agree.
Yes, and the most important thing is how genuine and how valued the thoughts that you have to bring up in the society. That's why we are also connected, because we work more into not just talks, but into action. Because silence, silently doing the work is different than making a noise. So silence is the biggest reply to the society that we do behind. Yes, we are there.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure indeed for me to be a part of the program and to be a part of the wonderful team over here. So it's just, I would like to say a thanks for the opportunity. Gratitude.
Hi, this is my friend. This is my friend. Yeah, you are my friend, good friend. I have already personally met. So that's why we are doing that. We are not like to say one family. I'm telling one family, not like.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are the family member. Whenever you can convey any responsibility, I am there, sir.
Yes. My heartfelt gratitude to entire team and especially to you and Caroline ma'am, because it's always my pleasure to be on your platform, sir. I always feel like it's a family, you know, that's the best part and that's the best feel. We all are sitting together and working towards it. Yes. Very true. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. Really, you all are doing extremely well. Brother, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You know, always you all are being excellent. I'll tell you. Excellent. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for these good words. With Sharang also, I was working for last 3 years. When he was in second year, we sent him for an international internship, which ultimately resulted into this startup. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And we are into plastic recycling. We make our startup. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah. I'm glad to see at these forums. Okay, for the last so-called 11 days, everything have been going very smoothly. And 5 days, those are your invited guests that have already come into the pictures and it's well spelled across the board, which indeed, okay, that may be directly or indirectly is representing the so-called the countries. It will be benefited, and in fact, it can be can have been bring forwards to the respective kind of ministries, that they can apply in practicals. Okay, further, there's today's subject regarding about the consumption versus kind of the productions. Okay, it's a very wide subject. It can cover all our areas. Okay, in a way that we can make this planet a better place for us for everyone of us to stay. With that, I would like to say thank you. Oh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to congratulate each and every speaker, chief guest speakers, keynote speakers. Really, it is an amazing topic. Everyone has given good inputs and insights and information, which is very useful. And being the professor of environmental science, I teach for engineering students, and every topic touched my heart. I had the thirst of learning a lot and loved, and learning is going to improve our standards and the quality. So really, I would like to thank all the guest speakers, keynote speakers, and all the evidence speakers who ever spoke today. Really, I would like to convey my thanks heartfully. As you have given us a lot of information and also solutions for the problems. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank Ghazala ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us, and your information is so useful. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Muhammad sir from UAE. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us and with your great insights. Anna Mary ma'am, thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us. And especially, I would like to thank my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Shrikant Kalluka, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing your student here. And that Sharon, while he's presenting, I'm looking at my students, how they start their own startups, and if they support the society, how good it looks. So we want such kind of young youth leaders who can transform the world with their deeds, with their acts. So such kind of startups, innovative ideas are very, very important for the youth. So they can bring a great transformation and make the environment clean and tidy, and also support the future generation. That is very important. So my heartfelt thanks even to Sharon. Thank you very much for taking up all the models and showing us how best the plastic can be used in the molds. So recycling products and how that pollution, how it can be reduced with the plastic. We know that it takes decades of years and it is very hard to disintegrate. So it is highly impossible. So that can be transformed. Even I have seen that plastic is used in roads, laying roads. So in this way, it can be recycled and used in a better way, which will not harm the environment. So thank you very much for being with us. And I would like to thank Dr. Shelley, ma'am. Thank you for being with us, ma'am. Really, your topic is amazing, and you have given us a lot of information and inputs, which are very useful for the generation. And also Dr. Gunjan ma'am, as Rajarao sir said, you have taken a very good solution for each and every problem, and also especially useful even for the common generation, common people. Especially I would like to thank Solesh Bharadwaj ma'am. Always she will be with us. As she said, she is our member of the family, and every time whenever we invite, ma'am will be here. And also I would like to thank Vincent sir. Thank you for being with us, sir. Every day your presence is giving us a great inspiration and enthusiasm that we need to be like you with great interest and enthusiasm. We have to concentrate on every topic and we have to learn. That kind of thirst is very much required. We have to quench the thirst of knowledge. That is very much required. So I'm learning a lot from you, the way you are observing and you're giving us good inputs and your presence every day. So that kind of attention is very much required. So we are learning from you, sir. And I would like to thank each and every eminent personality and dignitary who has joined us and making this summit a great way. And you're the personalities who are supporting us. You're all the backbone of this World Peace Summit. And because of you, we're able to carry on in a great way and making it to move on to the pinnacle of success only because of your presence, because of your encouragement, because of your motivation, because of your inspiration. So thank you very much. And also I would like to thank my family, my beloved sisters, Dr. Aruna Wadkar ma'am and Dr. Seema ma'am. Actually, yesterday, because of my hectic schedule in the college and at home, that I really forgot about the moderators. And I felt that we have the moderators. But morning in the college, in between of my little relaxation, I noticed that I did not ask any of the hosts to conduct the program today. And immediately, I remember Dr. Aruna Wadkar ma'am and Seema Negi ma'am, none else. So I text them that please see that. Seema Negi ma'am said after half an hour I will inform you, definitely, because just now I reached school. Aruna Wadkar ma'am said that yeah, I will let you know because ma'am is traveling and there's no signal. And by the time principal called me and I was engrossed with my college work and half an hour it was delayed, I did not carry my mobile. At that time Rajarao sir took the initiative and he contacted them and they immediately accepted. But accepted and after returning from my principal office, I took the phone and noticed their positive response. So thank you very much. Really, you have supported us. So a great relaxation when we feel that our members are here to support us. So really, ma'am, thank you very much. My love and affection to you, the way you are supporting us and taking up the summit to the next level. Thank you very much. And also I would like to thank Dr. Rajinikanth Mishra Garu. Thank you. Always you are there with us from the beginning. I have noticed you that you are supporting us and helping us to take up certain projects. I'm sure in future also you're going to support us and we work together in great collaboration. If everything goes well, we'll definitely will be joining. So thank you very much, sir. I thank each and every eminent personality who gathered here. So my humble gratitude and thanks to you. Especially my brother, Dr. Pagadipalli Rajarao, sir, is taking a lot of stress, I can say. He is calling each and every eminent speaker, taking their acceptance and making the flyer, releasing the flyer. It is all hectic schedule, I know, I can understand. But morning to evening, sir is very busy. Whenever I call sir, he will be speaking about the summit, the flyer, the speakers and all. Really, sir, thank you very much being with me and really, though how much I'm working, I do not know, but you're working a lot and you're like a huge mountain to the summit. And because of you, it is going in a successful way. It is moving on to the race of success only because of you. So thank you very much, my brother, Dr. Rajarao Pagadipalli. So thank you very much.